It doesn't matter whether it's politics, fashion or health. Everyone has an opinion and everyone has biases. Nothing wrong with that. Without opinions and biases, we couldn't neurologically function. The problem is, usually arguing a point of view isn't logical or evidence-based. We're hardwired to seek reward and avoid threat, and a direct attack on our opinions or having our safe, stable understanding of the world disrupted causes threat. As a result, we instinctively do what we can to win. And we do that using something called logical fallacies. So in this video, I will introduce you to some of the logical fallacies you should be aware of when challenging your own biases or when managing other people's threat responses. Ahoy, Bryce here from Brighter Training, and today I'm introducing you to logical fallacies, errors in reasoning that people employ to win in order to maintain their comfortable model of the world. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments section and click like and subscribe if you find this content interesting or useful, as it helps us share these resources with more people who may benefit. So, what is it exactly? A logical fallacy is a flaw in reasoning. They are linguistic tricks or illusions of thought, and they're often intentionally used by politicians and the media to influence people. The reason people use them is usually to hold on to an established belief. If you watch our videos, you will be familiar with the idea of cognitive dissonance and the need for safety. As such, people will go to extraordinary lengths to maintain their beliefs. As much as we like to believe we are rational, evidence-based beings, it simply isn't true. So here are 6 of my favourite logical fallacies that I think everyone should learn to recognise. To start with, the straw man argument. The straw man argument attacks a different subject rather than the topic being discussed, often a more extreme version of the counter-argument. The purpose of this misdirection is to make one's position look stronger than it actually is. By exaggerating, misrepresenting, or just completely fabricating someone's argument, it's much easier to present your own position as being reasonable, but this kind of dishonesty serves to undermine honest, rational debate. Simple examples could be in politics, where candidate 1 suggests investing more money into health and education, and candidate 2 may respond by saying that they're really surprised that candidate 1 hates our country so much that they want to leave it defenceless by cutting military spending. Or a simple social example. Imagine a couple trying to decide whether they should adopt a dog or a cat. One person may say, I'd rather have a dog than a cat. And the second person would respond with, why do you hate cats? Next is the ad hominem. An ad hoc fallacy uses personal attacks rather than logic. This fallacy occurs when someone rejects or criticises another point of view based on their personal characteristics, ethnic background, physical appearance, or other non-relevant traits of the person who holds it. This is basically mudslinging and attempts to distract from the topic by misdirecting attention to question the credibility of the person. The result of an ad hominem attack can be to undermine someone's case without actually having to engage with it. For example, after Mary presents a compelling case for a more equitable taxation system, Joe asks the audience whether we should really believe anything from a woman who isn't married, was once arrested, and is so rich she probably hasn't paid taxes for a decade. Next, we have personal incredulity. Because you found something difficult to understand or are unaware of how it works, you made out like it's probably not true. We see this a lot with medicine and science, especially when people don't like the recommendations, however, don't really understand the data leading to the advice. Complex subjects like biological evolution through natural selection require some amount of understanding before one is able to make an informed judgment about the subject at hand. This fallacy is usually used in place of that understanding. For example, Tim draws a picture of a fish and a human, and with mocking sarcasm, asked Richard if he really thought we were stupid enough to believe that a fish somehow turned into a human through, random things happening over time. Another common fallacy is the appeal to emotion, also called an appeal to pity. This relies on provoking your emotions to win an argument rather than factual evidence. Appealing to pity or emotion attempts to pull on the audience's heartstrings, distracts them to support the speaker's point of view. Appeals to emotion include appeals to fear, envy, hatred, pity, pride, and more. It's important to note that sometimes a logical, coherent argument may inspire emotion or have an emotional aspect, but the problem and fallacy occurs when emotion is used instead of a logical argument, or to obscure the fact that no compelling, rational reason exists for one's position. Most people are affected by emotion, and so appeals to emotion are very common and an effective argument tactic, but that's ultimately flawed and dishonest. An example could be a person accused of a crime would use a cane or a walker to appeal more feeble in front of a jury. Or the old, eat your dinner because there are starving people in other countries. And of course, references to freedom, oppression, or
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
similar to that is the appeal to nature. This includes an argument that because something is natural, it is therefore valid, justified, inevitable, good, or ideal. Many natural things are also considered good, and this can bias our thinking. But naturalness itself doesn't make something good or bad. For instance, murder could be seen as very natural, but that doesn't mean it's good or justifiable. Supplements and alternative medicine offer various natural remedies, and that people should be wary of artificial medicines such as antibiotics. This is a distraction from the fact that the logic doesn't hold up, since there are positive and negative natural things. And the same for manufactured. Processed doesn't mean unnatural, and natural doesn't mean unprocessed. It's another distraction. Finally, there is the bandwagon effect. This essentially suggests that the popularity or the fact that many people do something is a form of validation. The flaw in this argument is that the popularity of an idea has absolutely no bearing on its validity. If it did, then the earth would have made itself flat for most of history to accommodate this popular belief. The fact is, 99% of the global population could believe something, and that doesn't make it any more true or false. People will often connect based on their mutual beliefs, and this effect becomes self-perpetuating. If you get enough people in a room with a belief, then anyone who enters with a different opinion tends to be shouted down. But it's just as possible that they're all wrong. Protests are another example. 1,000 people protested. It must be true. Well, A, 1,000 people protested and 1,000,000 didn't. And B, how do the numbers of believers mean that the data is any more accurate? There are a heap of logical fallacies, so I might share some more another time. But hopefully this generates some food for thought and helps you either reflect on your own responses to new ideas or helps you become more aware of when logical fallacies are used against you. Please remember to hit like and subscribe if you liked the video, and our contact details can be found in the description below if you would like to explore workshops with your team on this or other fun and useful business and neurological concepts. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.